And welcome everybody to the Huddle. I'm Jason Barr with Pat Parris. We join you every Tuesday at this time at 3 o'clock, talk some sports, Tucson sports and otherwise. Pat, we've had some vacation time over the summer, but we're back
Yeah.
again. So good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good. Back in the saddle, ready to go. This should be a little stretch here, Jason, where we get to talk a lot of sports and a lot will be happening in the next few months.
Definitely some things to cover. We're going to start today with our guest, and he is the new Tucson Roadrunners head coach named today, Steve Potvin. And Coach Potvin, thank you so much for taking a few minutes here on the Huddle. Jason Barr, Pat Parris in our Tucson K-Gun studios. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
terrific. People know you as a hockey coach, but I don't think a lot of people know you're also a hockey dad. You have a 19-year-old who plays hockey, and he grew up with you taking him to games. What was that experience like, and where's he playing now?
It was a great experience. That's actually how I got into coaching. You know what? I started at the minor hockey level, and you know what? You really learn how to communicate with the kids and learn to communicate with the parents. So for me, it was great. I'm not so sure he loved it, having a dad that was also his coach. I don't think he was really able to get another voice. It was probably a little bit harder on him, but it was great. Learning from the kids and being able to communicate with the parents as well as just learning how to really, get both sides on the same page. But he's now playing in the BCHL, and he's looking for a scholarship here in the next year. So he's got a big year, and he's ready for it. He spent a good part of the summer training and doing what he can off the ice to get better. And it's good for Arizona hockey. He grew up in this market, and he's seeing the opportunities just around the corner for him.
Oh, that's great to hear, Steve. And I guess it's a sign you're getting old when, like, the kids of the players you remember are starting to play. We see that all over the NHL now too, when they make it up to the NHL, and just a sign we're getting older, I guess. You're back. You're with the Roadrunners. Tell me what it's like to elevate your own career to this level and get an opportunity now to take at this level take over a team again.
Well, it's great. How it happened. I think it's a really good position for a coach. I was able to go in as the head. Then I was able to also just step back and view things again from an assistant coach's perspective, but really identify what the coach is going through, understand, the ins and outs and the intricacies that happen during the day that you can use for yourself the next time you're a head coach, and really be able to identify the things that you need to get better at in order to be able to take that next step. So the way it happened, I couldn't be any happier. I thought I learned a lot as a head coach, but then having stepped back, I learned even a little bit more as to what it takes to become a good head coach. And honestly, because of it, I was also, I think, able to be a better assistant to Jay. So I'm looking forward to every challenge here moving forward, and I feel that I'm as prepared as I'll ever be.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Coach Potvin was the coach of the Roadrunners in the spring of 21 for that shortened COVID season, and then this past season was the associate head coach. So, Steve, it might look like a situation where, oh my goodness, this guy got demoted to associate head coach, and okay, now he can be coach again. But I'm not sure that was a situation. It sounds to me like it was more of they needed a coach at the time, and maybe they elevated you before they thought they were going to, and it's not like you did a bad job or anything. You were just kind of elevated a little sooner than maybe some had thought. Am I reading the situation correct?
No, you're bang on. I think it was, you're trying to fit the puzzle, so to speak. And Jay was up in the NHL and was, a valued part of their staff and was needed up there. And, when they made adjustments to the NHL staff, he's a quality individual, a good coach. And so we needed to make room for him. And so it was just natural for him to come back to his, the head coaching position. And, I was fortunate that they named me associate head coach. And like I said, it was in a sense, it was good for me to be able to stand back and observe a little bit more, and just really allowed me to prepare for this moment now. And I think, to be honest with you, it's just you're just always trying to be a company guy. You're trying to make sure that the organization is always prepared to take the next step, and you're willing to do whatever it takes for the association, or the organization. So I wasn't hurt for too long, but I can tell you I'm appreciative for the next opportunity here, and I'm looking forward to working with the guys.
Steve Potvin is our guest, a new head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners. And Steve, you've seen this franchise now, this organization at this Tucson level, at the AHL level, and you've seen the fan base that is very hardcore and really appreciates this level of hockey. What is the health of hockey in Tucson right now, in your opinion?
Yeah, it keeps getting stronger and stronger. And, it was unfortunate we went through the COVID period, but I think it also started to grow the thirst again. Taking it away and pulling back a little bit, I think the desire grew even more. So we're looking forward to next season and seeing the growth continue on. And you can see the growth with minor hockey as well. Before games and after practices, you see the little ones at the rink, and you see that the numbers are growing. And so it's great to see, and it's great to be a part of.
All right, Steve, let's do a little rapid fire here with a few players. I mean, we're not going to name all of them, but I figured we'd pick three, and you can give maybe a brief evaluation of what you think and what the fans can expect this season at the Tucson Arena. All right, we're going to start with Mike Carcone. Here's a guy, both a contract of both ways, Coyotes and the Roadrunners. He had 24 goals in 48 games with the Roadrunners last year. That's pretty good. What does he need to do to stick with the NHL, and what does he bring to the Roadrunners?
Well, yeah, I think his consistency. I think last year that's what he brought to the game. He had some spurts where he was good one night and not as good the next night. Years past. But last year his consistency was really strong, and he was effective for us night in, night out. I mean, he can skate. He puts D on their heels, and he's an effective player, and he's hard to play against.
You've got a veteran joining you, Adam Cracknell, and this is a guy who, 210 NHL games, 627 AHL games. At 37, what does he afford you, and how much do you, expect him to be a leader and help you with what you're trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, actually, I spoke with him today, and you know what? He's at one point, he's going to be a hockey coach. So we're going to look for his insight in the locker room. We're going to look for his leadership. And, I know that this guy is going to bring everything he can every day. There's 20 other guys in the locker room watching him every day. And, at some point he is going to be a coach, and they're going to remember how he processes the game, how he shows up every day. And I expect him to be a real leader on and off the ice. And we're going to lean on him, and I'm looking forward to learning from him as well.
All right, and one more, the all-important goalie position, Ivan Prosvetov. He, had a really good stretch in the spring. Your thoughts on Ivan and what he does well and what he needs to improve on?
Well, Ivan, he's set for a big year here. I think he was disappointed a little bit at times with his game. I think he needs to get back his level of consistency, and to be fair for him, fair to him, he's been with a couple different goalie coaches over the years, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here with Charlie McTavish as his head guy for 2 years in a row, and just a consistent message will help him.
Steve, give me your thoughts about what your role is here, what you're trying to accomplish here, because a lot of fans want to win. They want to win championship. We get that, but that's not the only role that you have as a head coach at the AHL level.
That's a great question. I think the best way to sum it up is we want to win as many games as possible without compromising development. I think my role as a coach is to make sure that their game just improves. we're coaches, and that's realistically, that's what our job is. We want to make sure that they're able to bring their game to the next level in order for them to, maybe play in the NHL or even extend their seasons and careers.
All right, and you're also known for your coaching of the power play. What makes a good power play? How does a team get from 18% to 23% on their power play? What is the real difference between a good power play and an average power play, would you say?
Well, I would like to say that it's the coach and our process, but honestly, I think it's putting the right guys in the right positions in order for them to have success. The more comfortable they are in their positions, the better it's going to be. And a lot of times, just letting the players play with their instincts is a big component of that.
And don't listen to the fans who are constantly yelling, shoot the puck, every time that they touch it on the power play.
Some guys need to shoot more. Some guys
need to shoot more. Other guys need to, find the open man. That's just the way it is.
That's right.
Steve, tell me about the overall health of the NHL right now, and thus trickling down to the AHL. Where's hockey at right now in your estimation?
Well, I think it's in a great spot. I think you're seeing so many different cultures. It's altering the game a little bit. You're seeing, Austin Matthews, the MVP of the league. He's, from Arizona. It's just changing the dynamic of it, and you're seeing so much growth and opportunity for, so many different types of players, and they're coming from different countries and different places. I think it's great, and honestly, the parity. What these guys can do now is remarkable. It looks like to me that there's 3 lines that can contribute offensively, and your 4th line is not too far behind. And the way the game is not only just being taught, but how it's being processed and played. It's so great to see. There's so many different coaches and so many different ways to teach it, and you're seeing a lot of growth as a result of it.
All right. From an AHL perspective, you're playing here in Tucson. Give me the one road trip that you do look forward to, and give me the one road trip. Oh gosh, we got to go there. We're gonna have terrible travel delays, or you name it. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I want the one road trip you look forward to, and the one road trip coming out of Tucson that you dread every year. Be honest.
Well, you know what? We used to dread going to Stockton, and they're no longer there anymore. They're in Calgary. So that's fortunate for us. We do, we like visiting Canada, but there's just too many different logistics that can go sideways on you. We don't look forward to going to Abbotsford or Calgary, but we do, appreciate.
They look forward to coming here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. But San Diego is a place that we love going to. And I'd be, I don't want to disappoint anybody, but there's an unbelievable restaurant. I think it's called the Blue Water. And there's one that's on the water and there's one that's not on the water. And our video coordinator brought us to the one that's not on the water. And that's an inside joke we have going on forever, that he took us to a cement-driven restaurant where we could have went to the one that's right along the water, right around the beachfront. We chose, the one that's probably doesn't have the best scenery. But San Diego is a place we love going to. It's always a good trip. There's always the sun, the beach, and the games are usually pretty good there also.
Yep. Well, it is Tucson's favorite getaway is San Diego. There's no doubt about that. Steve, let me revert back to and follow up with something I asked you earlier. I talked about, the game here in Tucson and how the fans are. How is the youth hockey in this area and in Phoenix? I know it's going great. How is it here in Tucson, and how do you anticipate it, growing in the future?
Well, it's as you say, it's growing. We come in on game days on a weekend, and you can see there's travel teams coming, and now there's teams coming from Scottsdale, and they're just pushing the market here. It's just going to get more competitive the longer it goes. And you can see that the numbers are starting to rise, and as long as the kids are getting the proper ice touches and they're getting the opportunity, then I don't see a reason why the market can't continue to expand and get better and better.
All right, last one for me would be, what do you make and what are your thoughts of this arena that the Coyotes are going to play in this year? It's ASU's arena. It's seats, I think I want to say 6,000 people. I'm off a little bit on that, but my goodness, to have an NHL team play in such a small arena, there's going to be some pros and some cons. What are your thoughts on a National Hockey League team? Certainly the Roadrunners parent team playing in such a small arena. I think the Tucson arena actually seats more than where ASU is going to be playing, even if it's a temporary situation this year.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit bigger in Tucson. You know what? It's going to be electric. It's going to be a lot of fun. For the first little while, it'll feel like the players are right there with the fans, and I think that could be a little boost. It can give you a little bit more energy, and I think it can be a real nice vibe to be around. It'll definitely be interesting early on. It'll be fun to see what it looks like and how they're able to interact with the players.
And you'll do whatever it takes to keep hockey in Phoenix, I guess, if you're the Coyotes, and maybe for Coyotes fans, you'll put up with that for a short period, knowing that you're going to have an arena that's your own arena and not something that didn't work out so well in Glendale.
100%. We're really excited about that project. It's really gonna elevate the game here in Phoenix and in surrounding areas as well. I think it's going to be so much fun when it's in Tempe, and the community that they're building around it is it's a lot to look forward to, and I think it's going to serve us really well. Not too far after that, I think the Stanley Cup's right around the corner, isn't it?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope for sure.
I heard it goes hand in hand. So
okay. then I'll go for that too. All right, sounds good.
Fantastic. Steve Potvin, thank you so much for joining us here. Named head coach. We got some comments in. We'll read them real fast. Just some Roadrunners fans congratulating you. Sano Ferrando and a couple of others. So already got people in Tucson supporting you. They're happy you're again the head coach of the Roadrunners, named today again as head coach. So I see you got the beard. Hopefully that gets a lot longer, meaning
Yes.
you guys go far in the playoffs. I don't know how that works when you already have facial hair, but that's why I say I hope it gets a lot. Hope that playoff beard gets extended. Thanks for joining me and Pat here on the Huddle, and we look forward to following you this year and being at your game starting in October.
Jason, Pat, pleasure. Looking forward to next season. Appreciate the text, gang. Looking for a great hockey season here.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Steve. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah, Pat. So that, kind of explains why he's the head coach for the second time in 3 years. And sometimes you got to be a good organizational guy and take a step back. And he did that. And I'm sure they're happy he's there for the position that opened up when Jay Varady went and become the assistant head coach of the Red Wings. Yeah,
and sometimes, as he said, you have to put your faith in the organization, and it may not be something you were happy with. He certainly wasn't happy with it at the time, but he paid his dues again, and now he's back as the head coach. And always look forward to hockey, Jason. It's a great sport. I just love going to Roadrunner games too when I get the opportunity.
It's funny, they draw a lot more on weekends. They struggle a little bit on the weekday games. The Tuesday night games, so they tried to have fewer of those. So we like to stick certainly sometimes with the sports that are in season, but we wanted to talk to Steve Potvin as he was named head coach today. But a lot going on, and Pat, I wanted to get your thoughts. You cover the Tucson Sugar Skulls pretty well. You're their play-by-play announcer on their U2 games, and certainly a close relationship with Dixie Wooten, the head coach and general manager, who was let go yesterday, and just wanted to get your thoughts. Dixie says he was somewhat surprised. Only 2 years. I think they had a losing record by 1 game. Made the playoffs second year, lost in the first round. Your initial thoughts when you found out that the Sugar Skulls were letting Dixie Wooten go, knowing that they let Marcus Coleman go after one season in the team's inaugural year.
Yeah, they made the playoffs. They let Marcus Coleman go. They go 2 years with Dixie Wooten. They let him go after making the playoffs. So maybe the next coach gets 3 years and maybe he goes deeper in the playoffs. We'll find out. I was a little surprised, Jason, but I know what the expectation level is when Kevin and Kathy Guy own a franchise in the Indoor Football League, and their expectation is to go deep in the playoffs and maybe even win a championship at some point. Not maybe, they do want to win a championship. So when your expectations are the same for the team you own, like Kevin Guy owns, it's going to be the same as what he has as a head coach of the Arizona Rattlers, and that's to win a championship. I'll guarantee you, Kevin Guy was just as upset about his own team, the Rattlers, that he coaches and is a general manager of, not making it to the championship game, as he was with Dixie Wooten and the Sugar Skulls not making it to the championship game. And so I guess maybe there was just some, this is my own personal opinion. I don't have it on inside authority at all. When you have a head coach and he's handpicked to come in after winning a championship in Iowa, your expectation level is to win a championship, right? And they didn't get it done in 2 years. And when Kevin Guy is your owner, this is where it's my speculation, nobody else's, Kevin and Kathy Guy, he's going to expect almost perfection. And when he didn't see perfection at times on the field, it frustrated him. And I'm guessing that stuck with him. And that was the reason they made the move on Monday.
Yeah, I think there's something else, though, and we talked a little bit about this. And what I think the situation is I think deep down all along they wanted a coach who was living in Tucson 12 months a year. But because Dixie Wooten had won a championship and he was such a no-brainer hire, I think they were willing to look the other way and not make that a big deal. Hey, let's just get a guy who wins, and that's going to fill the arena. But when they weren't winning and the arena's not filled, then what's the situation here? So I think, and that's based on one of Dixie Wooten's answers in a Zoom that you did yesterday. I think we're going to see a coach who's going to be living here 12 months a year. And part of his evaluation is going to be how many fans are in attendance.
That's right.
Because that's part of it. The stands were just too empty. I know it was their third season. I know it takes a long time to build a fan base. I know you got to win, but the stands were just too empty this past season.
Yeah. They actually got better towards the end of the year, but it was a little too late. If that was the beginning of the season crowd and then you grew from there, it would have been much better. And I think you're right. I think what happens is you get a coach that's here 12 months out of the year. He's going with maybe a player or two that could be around. They're going to all the local events. They're glad handing. They're getting the name out. They're getting themselves out there. And suddenly, a coach becomes kind of part of the fabric of the community. And
it's retail politics.
That's it. And you've got to, it's grassroots. You got to start, and it's got to be something that's 12 months out of the year. And it's not just those 4 or 5 months. And I think that was a message.
Imagine us trying to do our job from somewhere else in the country. When we're recognized at the grocery store, it's a good thing,
Yeah, it is because we live here. We live here. We have we've put ourselves here for a reason, and we're trying to make the community better, and we have roots here, and that's what you expect from your local TV news broadcasters, also your local sports coach, whatever it may be.
And like I said, it's great. It's okay. It's look the other way when you win big. When you're not winning big, those other things come up. All right, so let's move on here and talk U of A fall camp. Certainly, we're right pretty much in the middle of fall camp here as the Wildcats practice for season number 2 in the Jetfish era. And you take a look at the quarterbacks. We can start with that. It doesn't seem like Jaden Delore is having a great training camp. I don't think it really matters as long as he plays well. San Diego State week 1, nobody's going to think about that. And in the unfortunate situation, if Delore ever got hurt, I think that Jed Fish would put in Jordan McLeod from an experience point of view. But boy, Noah Fafita looked really good in the spring game. And by all indications, Fafita's looking really good in fall camp with an immediate chemistry with the tight end and the wide receiver who he played with in high school.
Exactly. So you got like a trifecta of offensive skill position players, and he has looked great. But I think I think the decision to go with Delore was the right one. I don't think anybody's going to question that. And from everything I've read, Jason, and I haven't been out there yet. I'm going to try to go Saturday night to the scrimmage. But from what I've read and what I've seen in highlights and on social media, it seems like Delore really took a big step about a little over a week ago. But he really took a big step from a Friday night walkthrough to the Saturday scrimmage, and did very well in the scrimmage as well. And a lot of people say, it was a big adjustment for him to go from the Washington State offense to this more pro style offense of Jed Fish. And it's the right move for a Jake Delora, but
Jaden Delora, yeah. No, I think to your point, they're actually going to put him in shotgun a little bit more than I thought.
A little bit more, right?
Yep,
right.
Because
but you got to give a guy a little bit of a learning curve here for Jaden Delora, and I think that he's done that, and I think maybe we're starting to see him really kind of get it now. Where before
this is a proven QB.
struggling.
I don't mean to insinuate there's some QB core battle. No,
there's not. No,
this
there's
guy
not.
was the Pac-12 freshman of the year. I don't anticipate him coming in here and us having a discussion.
But your point is well taken. There's a lot of depth at quarterback now, and there's a lot of great quality depth at quarterback, which is in the Pac-12 seems to be a bit of a luxury. Before we were talking about, there's a lot of depth at quarterback, but it's maybe not at the level of the depth you want. Well, now the level has risen, and Jed Fish has brought in some great players, and we'll just see how that translates.
Yeah, I'm most excited about the wide receiver room. Teteroa McMillan on the outside starting, Jacob Cowing in the slot. Dorian Singer, a former walk-on, looked good in the Territorial Cup game. It really is plays with a lot of confidence, and Jamari Joyner when he's healthy. So there's a lot of talent, and we'll see how much it translates. It is a tough. We'll get into this more in the next couple of weeks. This is a tough schedule. They're not conference games. There's no cupcakes here. They got to go to San Diego State to open that stadium. Then they've got an SEC team coming in here, and then they've got the FCS team that's won 7 of the last 10 championships or whatever it is coming here before they even start Pac-12 play. So it's a tough schedule. But I do expect them to be improved, and we'll get into more of that.
Yeah, we'll get more into that as well. But I Jason, you got to play the schedule, and so you got to get some wins. And if you want to improve, you had one win last year. Improvement shows in the win-loss total, not necessarily just the moral victory of looking better than you did last year. So we'll see.
Okay, and then I'll end on this. We're actually Pat and I are working on a digital half-hour special to preview the University of Arizona football season, and that should be live when we join you next Tuesday. So we'll talk more about that and how you can watch that. But
Maria just had a comment there. Maria Suarez says, "Let's go Cats." There you go. Yep. Let's go Cats. I'll second that.
Maria, good way to end. Thanks so much for joining us, for commenting, Maria and Celine and everybody else, Michael, Nicole, and to all the other viewers who aren't joining us live, but all the views it gets on replay on OTT. So for Pat Parris, I'm Jason Barr. This has been The Huddle on the KGUN 9 streaming platforms, and we'll see you next Tuesday right at this time at 3 o'clock. Until then, have a great day.